Welcome to topic 9.2, market sectors and segments. So we've heard about sectors and segments from the innovation topic 5, but this is a little bit more detail about market sectors and segments. So the thing that's important too is don't forget to have a look at the reading. It gives you some more details as well. All right. So remember, we're going from corporate strategies to defining these different sectors and segments. Then eventually we'll talk about identifying the market, how to research, and then branding as well too. So it's all kind of funneling into this branding section, okay? So an important thing is that we always have to research and consider these different sectors before the design is even undertaken. So this is where you need to make sure you know what is that sector or what is that segment, okay? This is nice too. Perhaps the biggest mistake is possible to make in targeting is trying to reach everybody and not appealing to anyone. So this is also related to the specifications. So where you have those target audiences, all those other details, that's what I was saying about sectors. So really making sure that you're focusing in and understanding the product and who it's designed for, okay? So remember sectors, it's these different categorizations of the market, versus segments is this specific type of purchaser who have similar characteristics and tastes. So this is like hipsters versus young professionals. If you're following along in the video, you can also have a look at this. But it's the same age group, but their tastes and characteristics are a little bit different, right? So that's something that's important to understand, is that these age, the demographics, maybe they're the same, but these characteristics and tastes are what are different. Okay, so you can see those two different types of people. And again, so the sectors are, sorry, not again, but the sectors are related to geography. Clients versus segments can be kind of broken down into some of these different things about taste, ethnicity, height, location, owners. There's lots of different things that can be kind of dividing these sectors, okay? So here's this overall sectors. Remember, we talked about this in topic 5. So seeing these different sectors and how the stock market's divided, about geography, values, culture, purchasers. So it's kind of specific, but then the segments start getting more specific. So income, age, profession, family, values, behavior, and then we'll talk about a persona a little bit later. So see, it's these buying power. What do they like? Are they more engaged with music, less engaged with music, social, less social? So it's looking at these very specific things to kind of break up that sector. So active elderlies, young elderlies. So they're starting to kind of look at these segments and just focus them in a little bit more on their personalities. Okay, so here's the way that this kind of breaks down as well too. You see, we'll start talking about this in a minute. But the overall market, and then there's sectors, segments, target market, target audience, user population, then customer profile or persona. Again, you can always flip through and watch some of these videos that have more detail. So see, similarly funneling, here's a sector, then segments, then the market, then the audience. Remember, the audience can be different than the segments. So all these things kind of break down. The user population, so this is who's actually using it, and it even includes people who are related to like along the process. We'll talk about it in a minute, okay? So it falls down, and then the persona is a very specific kind of like example of somebody who would, who exemplifies your product. It's also called customer profile, okay? So here, how do companies actually do this? So if you looked at, maybe have a look at this website. IKEA does a really good job. They focused in on all of these different sectors and segments, and it actually has data that shows who does what, why do they like it, and they try to collect all of this data and information. So by doing this, they can really understand what this person wants. So it's a really important part of their product research, their systems, how they want to attract these people. So, and they need to do that through research. So here's some photographs. So they're talking about, they did all this research for 22 countries. They found out about security, ownership, what do people want, why do they want it, what are the furnishing solutions. So this is their big 2028 report of that kind of research that was underdone. Again, how are they using it, or why do they do this? So they want to develop the product so it's exactly that meets that user needs. Also to be able to make it commercially successful, understanding needs, wants, desires, how much people they own, or how much money they have to spend. So that's about income, again, when they break it down into those different segments. So as they're focusing, they can more accurately and effectively market the product because they know what people want, how much money they have to spend. So this is really, if you find out all this data, you should be able to have a very successful product. Some examples, so I think it looks like it was blocked in this country, but what it is like if you look at McDonald's from around the world, you see how this is the Indian McDonald's version. So they actually have a different market for people because there's a Mikalu Tikka, the curry pan, Maharla, I can't even pronounce it, but they have all these different flavors because it's from a different location. So I'm sure maybe you've probably seen these or heard of this before, okay? Another one, so you could try to answer this question. I believe it's one of the questions as well. But if you have a look at this also is referring, you can understand the difference between audience and market in this one too. So, but have a look, it's a question and it's a little bit of information about this watch and then why parents want it. So what are some things to consider, and then understanding the sector and how it is that they did the research to find out what these parents wanted to create this particular product. Okay, so now here is your opportunity to try to find some of these examples based on these different sectors. Okay, so the first one, and you should do this in the form, the first one is looking at healthcare, oil and gas, telecommunications, basic consumer goods, and understanding which sector it's sold in. Okay, so that's that one about sector, try to find two. And then similarly, products that could be designed within that sector. Okay, so you have a look so you can see inside of that sector, there's different clothes, telecommunication could be phone, oil and gas, healthcare, these types of things. Try to pay attention and find how somebody was able to narrow things down into those different sectors or markets, okay? So this is like one of those examples where they're looking specifically at these parents and they try to research and understand. So there's a couple of questions, but that's the basic overview of understanding how we go from sectors into different market segments, okay? More on later on is we'll talk about product families, but that's a pretty good quick overview. And again, don't forget to use that reading to help you out and understand this topic, okay? If you got questions, feel free to ask me, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks.